If you're a business owner or entrepreneur that would like to enter into business with a potential partner, however, you're not quite sold on everything yet, but you'd still like to discuss business details in a meaningful and confidential way, perhaps you've heard about a Memorandum of Understanding and how this legal document can help you. If you're in this setting where you're hearing about Memorandums of Understanding or MOUs, and you have so many questions about whether they're legally binding, what goes into one, what the point of one is, and how can one benefit you, well then this video is for you. My name is Pam Matani. I'm the principal lawyer and founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm where our slogan literally is all business all the time. We're able to serve business owners and entrepreneurs virtually and across Ontario. If you're new to the YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button down below so that you can stay up to date with our regular YouTube postings. Now, what is a Memorandum of Understanding, and is it a binding agreement? What's great about MOUs is that they need not be binding, okay? If you come to us here at Graphene, we'd of course put forward on the MOU legal protections that ensure you are not bound to anything you don't want to be bound to, and ensure that you're entering into a legal document, agreement, process that you're comfortable with and that benefits you and the interests of your business, okay? One of the most common phrasings that we can put into place as protections for you not being bound by an MOU is phrasing on how this is not a legally binding document, and it sets forth the principal terms of a potential, for example, sale of goods or services, okay? So there are strong legal protections that we would afford you throughout the document we're working on to make sure, again, that you're not being bound to anything you don't want to be bound to. However, if you're at the MOU stage, chances are you're talking to a party that you genuinely are interested in entering into business with. So what would the sections of this MOU entail, and what would be some of the concrete clauses in an MOU? Keeping in mind that this video is not legal advice, it's simply put out there for information and educational purposes so that when you do get in front of a lawyer, you can make the most out of your time, keep your billings more efficient and more lean, and really make good use of what hopefully will be less time you'll need with that lawyer as a result of you being so prepared from doing your research and watching helpful videos such as this one. So let's go through some of the clauses of an MOU at a high level so that you understand what we're seeing here. Because it's important to note that although they're not legally binding, an MOU is still not a wishy-washy nothing, right? We're still putting forward our best intentions of entering into business with another party, and what would these details look like? You're gonna see me looking down because I have to, because I'm reading, okay? So one of the first sections we're going to see, of course, is we're going to be outlining the parties to an agreement and the purpose, or the parties to this memorandum, I should say, and the purpose, right? So again, here we see language such as, this agreement is not, or this document is not intended to be exhaustive. This is not that thing you're signing off on. Even if you like everything that you've gone through as a result of conversations with this other party through the scope of this MOU, I don't know that it would be a good idea to sign off on the MOU as is, right? It's a separate legal document. It's, you would put right on there that it's not exhaustive, except for perhaps certain sections you might have in mind to actually be concrete sections that could translate into an agreement. And, you see things such as, the details of this memorandum will further be verified and will further be negotiated between the parties. And, you can even put on there that neither party is literally to be bound by this. It should be a safe document coming from a place of respect between the parties, right? We're not trying to force anybody to sign something that's missing requisite details. You shouldn't be feeling forced or pressured yourself. It's a conversation opener in a sense, but a meaningful one. So again, to come on the other end of that scale, we're not, or that spectrum, we're not signing MOUs with just everybody we'd love to do business with and share a deal with or buy from or sell to, right? It is a meaningful document, but it's not legally binding if you're not comfortable with what you see, right? And there's ways, again, in the document to incorporate that language, in a legally adherent manner, and that's, my job as a lawyer, that's our job here at Graphene. But like I said, you'd see the parties, you'd see the purpose, you could see, a good faith clause for duty to negotiate, that the parties are coming at this from a good faith perspective. They know that it's not a binding, it's not an agreement, it's a memorandum. However, they're still not just like putting all this fluff out there that they think would be good to read, because what's the point? Once we do the due diligence and everything crashes and burns anyways, then everybody's wasted so much time from not negotiating and sharing a good faith. So we're going to want some good faith provisions. There's timing provisions, right? Like, we're not going to be open to reviewing each other's books for life, because there might be a better deal on the street waiting for you, 10 days from now, right? So maybe you give this MOU 7 days to conclude. Maybe you give it 30 days. It depends on the circumstances, right? But I'm just putting out there that when you get in front of a lawyer, including us here at Graphene Business Law, because we're the ones putting the content out there, of course we're going to be talking about timing with you. But if you go to another law firm, you should be well equipped and show yourself as prepared and say, hey, I'd like to discuss the timing provisions, okay? Due diligence, we already talked about, and the meat of the MOU, if you will be key proposed terms. So if you actually go, excuse me, if you actually go into business with this party and draft another agreement, a concrete agreement for whatever it is, agreement of purchase and sale, agreement, vendor agreement, partnership agreement, whatever that binding agreement is, it's a really good idea to vet some of the most key terms of what that agreement could potentially look like into the MOU. So it would kind of be a moot point for an MOU to be filled with all these details and minutia, and then when you make it to converting, to entering that actual binding agreement stage, your potential partner is hearing something for the first time that really matters to you, that could be a make or break to them. So if something really matters to you about, quantities or qualities or timelines or things like that, or details, acceptance terms, warranties, representations, all of these legal terms that we would look out for you here at Graphene, it's a good idea to put what matters to you most in the MOU itself. Again, we would do so in a way that still preserves some confidentiality. Confidentiality itself should be a term within the MOU. So if this thing doesn't work out, it shouldn't be the case that either party is free to blab around town about how the deal with, Joe's shoe shop didn't work out, or Joe's, super high-tech shop, or Joe's luxury car shop, whatever the case might be, right? There's no end to the kind of business that's out there, and that can be protected by an MOU. Okay? And, there's other clauses to be put out there. One of them, even though we're not at a binding stage, it still costs time and it costs money to work through all of these steps of the MOU. It costs time and money to conduct the due diligence required to enter into business with the party. So who's carrying these costs? You're going to want to talk about that. And, if for whatever reason something goes wrong, even as a result of the MOU, what's the governing law? What jurisdiction are we in? If you're in Ontario, your partner's in BC, we as lawyers, here at Graphene Business Law, would help you choose something that most benefits you as our client. That goes without saying, but also something that makes legal sense, right? We're not here to draft unicorn papers that mean nothing when it comes to it for you. It still has to be reasonable and legally adherent, because only then can you genuinely benefit when the paper, we're drafting for you, in addition to being strongly written, has weight within the ambit of reality and actual business practice, okay? There's other clauses. I don't want to overwhelm whoever's watching this video by going through, the 32 clauses. Like I said, as lawyers here at Graphene Business Law, it's our job and our privilege to be able to put together these agreements and these documents that help preserve our clients' interests. But the big picture being, MOUs certainly don't need to be binding. That should be a safe conversation piece for you to have a meaningful conversation and go through meaningful processes with the party that you are genuinely interested in working with, and that they're genuinely interested in working with you, because you better believe both parties, if there's only two, need to sign off on the MOU. You don't unilaterally enter into one where you start to look through another person's books and and do your due diligence, and then decide if you want to back off or enter into the agreement. So I'll leave this video there. If you are looking to put an MOU into place with a partner, with a potential business partner that you think would be a really good choice for you to grow and develop your business, certainly you can contact us for that. info@graphenebusinesslaw is our welcome email, and graphenebusinesslaw.ca is our website. Thank you for watching. Whether it's an MOU, which need not be legally binding, or of course legally binding agreements, Graphene Business Law is here to help. Promote your business interests and strengthen and promote and progress your business.